Prologue. The birth of the runes, breath upon the void. Before word or wind, there was only the silence between stars. In that deep hush, Odin Allfather sought what no god yet held, the language of creation itself. He hung from Yggdrasil, the world tree, neither alive nor dead, pierced by his own spear, eyes open to the abyss. For 9 nights he drifted between breath and bone, until the wind began to speak, not in words but in shapes. Lines of power formed in the air, glowing like sparks in the dark. These were the runes, the first written breath, the bones of magic and memory. Each rune held a piece of the world's truth: wealth, strength, chaos, order, journey, gift, joy, need, ice, harvest, and death. Each was a living sound, echoing through earth, water, fire, and sky. And so Odin brought them forth, not as letters, but as keys. To carve a rune was to open a door. To speak it was to breathe life into being. The Elder Futhark became not only a script but a map of existence, from Fehu's spark of creation to Athalar's return home. When you whisper their names, you are not reading, you are remembering. Chapter 1. Fehu, the flame of life and abundance. The first of the Elder Futhark. When the first dawn broke upon the 9 realms, there ran herds of golden cattle, shining with warmth, their breath steaming in the cool air. From their hooves sprang sparks that became the first fires of humankind. Fehu is that living flame, the force of vitality, prosperity, and creation. It is movement, energy, the wealth that flows through all living things. To hoard it is to let it stagnate. To share it is to keep it alive. The tale of Fehu. The goddess Freyja, keeper of love and bounty, tended the herds of flame. When she walked among them, the grass grew greener, the soil rich. But when greed came upon men, they tried to seize her cattle for themselves and found only ash. For Fehu cannot be owned, it must circulate like breath, like blood, like the fire between stars. Meaning and reflection. Fehu speaks of energy in motion, wealth, creativity, health and life force. It asks, how do I tend the fires of my life? Do I let them warm others or consume me in hunger? It reminds us that true abundance flows from gratitude and generosities, not possession. Ritual thought: light a small flame, offer thanks for what sustains you, food, home, warmth, spirit. As the flame burns, whisper, may my fire feed the world and return to me in kind. Spoken invocation, open quote, Fehu, first flame, breath of wealth and living light, may your warmth flow through my hands, and may what I give return in time, close quote. Chapter 2, Uruz. The wild strength of becoming the second of the Elder Futhark. From the mists of creation rose the aurochs, wild and immense, horns glinting like crescent moons. Its breath was thunder, its heart the pulse of raw existence. Uruz, the rune of vitality and primal power, the raw life force that surges through all the tale of Uruz. It is said the gods shaped the first humans from the bones of Ymir, but it was Uruz that gave them strength to stand. When the aurochs drank from the rivers of fire and ice, she became the embodiment of life's raw balance. To honour Uruz was to honour one's own inner beast, the untamed, resilient self that survives all storms. Meaning and reflection. Uruz calls forth your inner vitality and transformation. It asks, where do I resist change? Where must I rise stronger, fiercer, more alive? Its lesson: strength is not domination, but endurance and renewal. Ritual thought: breathe deeply in open air. Feel your body as vessel and animal. Carve or trace the rune upon your skin with water, invoking life's pulse and resilience. Spoken invocation. Open quote, Uruz, mighty one, strength of horn and storm, shape me through trial that I may rise renewed. Close quote. Chapter 3, Thurisaz. The gate of giants and challenge the third of the Elder Futhark. Beyond the ordered realms of gods lies the wild land of the Jotnar, the primal giants. Their power is vast, destructive, creative, and necessary. Thurisaz is their rune, the thorn, the gate, the test of will. The tale of Thurisaz. When the gods built Asgard's wall, it was a giant who offered to complete it, but his strength turned against them when greed was revealed. Thus, Thurisaz teaches the dual edge of power. It protects or destroys, depending on the heart that wields it. It is the thorn that guards the rose, fierce, essential, but in its danger. Meaning and reflection. Thurisaz is a threshold. It asks, am I ready to face what challenges me and what I might unleash within myself? It warns, Use your power wisely, or be pierced by your own thorn. Ritual thought. Draw Thurisaz upon the ground before you. Take a breath before crossing over it. In that moment, leave behind hesitation and step into strength. Spoken invocation, open quote. Thurisaz, guardian thorn, keep harm at bay, but grant me courage to face what must be faced. Close quote. Chapter 4, Ansuz, the breath of divine wisdom, the fourth of the Elder Futhark. River of wind flows through a quiet forest at dawn, carrying voices older than memory. Here stands Ansuz, the rune of divine communication, revelation, and the living word. It is the breath that moves through story, a messenger's call, the whisper that turns thought into song. The ancients heard Ansuz in the cry of ravens, the murmur of brooks, and the hush between a teacher's words and a pupil's understanding. To stand before Ansuz is to feel speech become sacred. The moment a name is spoken and the world shifts to meet it. The tale of Ansuz. When Odin hung between worlds, seeking the deep wisdom of the runes, it was not only shapes that came to him, but voices. In the hush beneath Yggdrasil, he heard ravens talk and rivers hum. He learned that names summon and stories shape fate. From that breath, the rune Ansuz was born. The divine mouth, the counselor's phrase, the poet's spark. Bards were given Ansuz as their song. Messengers were given its clarity. It taught that a single true word could open doors long bolted, and a single false one could set whole ships adrift. Thus the rune became a guardian of speech. Use it with care, speak with intent, and listen as you would pray. Meaning and reflection. Ansuz is communication, inspiration, and sacred teaching. It asks, what needs to be said and how will I say it? Its lesson, words are not empty vessels but living tools. Used well, they heal, instruct, and create. Used poorly, they wound and mislead. When Ansuz appears, attuned to subtle messages, in dreams, in birdsong, in the quiet nudge of intuition. Honor the power of naming, let your words be offerings. Ritual thought. Carry a feather or small token of speech, a pen, a reed, a carved mouth when you seek clarity. Sit by water or under trees, listen for a phrase that will name your way forward. Write that phrase on paper and read it aloud 3 times, breathing intention into each syllable. Carved hair on a small talisman to aid honest communication and inspired thought. Spoken invocation. Open quote. Ansuz, breath of the gods, open my ears and steady my tongue. Let truth find voice in me and let my words be instruments of light. Teach me to hear what is not yet spoken and to speak only what honors the world. Close quote. Chapter 5, Ride-Ho, the sacred journey of alignment, the 5th of the Elder Futhark. The world is ever in motion. Stars dance their slow spirals. Rivers carve their paths, and our own feet echo the same rhythm. Ride-Ho is the rune of the journey, of alignment between inner and outer worlds. It is movement guided by purpose, not haste, destiny unfolding step by step.
The tale of Ride-Ho!
When the gods first created time, they saw that all things must travel in rhythm. The sun rode her chariot across the sky, the moon followed her path of silver light, and all life learned to move in pattern and pulse. It was then that the rune Ride-Ho was born, the wheel that turns, the rider's motion in harmony with the horse. Those who walk with Ride-Ho walk with the rhythm of life itself. Meaning and reflection. Ride-Ho is the rune of travel, right action, timing, and progress. It asks, am I walking in rhythm with my path, or am I forcing the wheel to turn before its time? It reminds you that the road itself is sacred, and each step a lesson. Ritual thought. When setting out on a journey or new phase of life, draw red upon your palm. Breathe deeply and whisper, may my path unfold in balance and grace. Spoken invocation. Open quote. Ride-Ho, wheel of the world, turn me in harmony with fate. May I move not faster than wisdom, nor slower than the heart's call. Close quote. Chapter 6, Kenaz, the torch of illumination. The 6th of the Elder Futhark. In the darkness of creation, one flame remained, small but unwavering. That was Kenaz, the torch, the light of insight that drives away ignorance and fear. Kenaz is the rune of craft, revelation, and creative power. It is the inner fire of transformation, the forge where raw metal becomes art, ignorance becomes wisdom, and night becomes understanding. Long ago, a smith named Volunda captured the essence of flame within his forge. He realized that fire, when directed with skill, does not destroy, it creates. Kenaz is his legacy, the sacred spark of craft and inspiration that shapes raw material into meaning. Meaning and reflection. Kenaz represents illumination, clarity, and artistry. It asks, where is my fire leading me? What can I create from what I have learned? Its lesson. Every spark of insight can either burn or enlighten. The choice lies in the hand that holds the torch. Ritual thought. Light a candle in darkness. Gaze into the flame and ask what truth it reveals to you today. Let the light illuminate both your fears and your strengths. Spoken invocation, open quote. Kenaz, flame of knowing, burn clear within my heart. Let your light reveal my path and warm what fear has frozen. Chapter 7. The Gift and the Balance. The 7th of the Elder Futhark. All creation is exchange, breath for breath, love for love, day for night. Gebo is the rune of gift and harmony, of sacred reciprocity. It reminds us that giving and receiving are two halves of the same act, and both are divine. The Tale of Gebo. The god Freyr once offered his sword in exchange for love, and though he lost his weapon, he gained peace in his realm. Thus, Gebo teaches that every true gift changes both giver and receiver. It is not a transaction, but a binding of souls, a balance of intent and gratitude. Meaning and reflection. Gebo asks, what do I give freely and what do I withhold? It teaches that abundance grows through equal flow, not possession. It reminds us gratitude is the purest form of magic. Ritual thought. Offer something of value, a word, a kindness, a moment of time, with no expectation of return. Draw Gebo upon your altar or heart, symbolizing the bond between all beings. Spoken invocation. Open quote. Gebo, sacred gift, balance my heart in giving and grace. May what I offer return as harmony, woven through the threads of fate. Close quote. Wunjo, the joy of completion. The 8th of the Elder Futhark. The road at last opens into a clearing where the sun warms the bones and laughter rises like smoke. Here stands Wunjo, the rune of joy, harmony, and the peace that follows trial. It is not the thin flash of pleasure, but the deep, steady gladness that comes when heart, hand, and home are in accord. Wunjo carries the sound of shared bread, of songs passed round the hearth, and the hush of relief after long labour. It asks the seeker to remember that contentment is earned and luminous, a quiet triumph of the soul. The Tale of Wunjo. When the first clans came together after a long season of wandering, they built a common fire and told their hard stories until laughter hammered out the edges of fear. In that circle, and they found more than shelter, they found belonging. Wunjo was born from their song, a rune that binds strangers into kin through joy shared and sorrow halved. It taught them that true celebration is the mending of weary hearts and that joy is a form of sacred work. Meaning and reflection. Wunjo is fulfillment, harmony, and heartfelt joy. It asks, what brings my spirit true ease? Where can I build circles of belonging? Its lesson, nurture the ties that make laughter possible and tend the quiet holiness of everyday joy. When Wunjo appears, receive the simple blessings, a warm meal, a friend's hand, a moment of rest, and let gratitude expand them. Ritual thought. Name aloud 3 small, ordinary things that bring you true joy. Share them with another, or write them on a slip of paper and place it on your altar as an offering to gentle abundance. Let the act of naming become a way of multiplying joy. Spoken invocation. Open quote. Wunjo, bright and benedict, sing within my bones. Let laughter be my medicine and kinship be my crown. Teach me to keep the hearth warm and my heart wide enough to hold the world. Close quote. Chapter 9. Hagalaz, the storm rune, the 9th of the Elder Futhark. When the first hailstones struck the thatch of men, it was said that Odin's breath had hardened, that the sky itself had turned to stone. But the wise ones saw differently. They saw cleansing. Hagalaz is the rune of disruption, destruction, and truth, where false structures fall away and the soul is made bare. The storm does not ask permission, it comes to purify. The Tale of Hagalaz. A seer once warned her people that the season ahead would not be kind. The others laughed. The sky was clear, the meadows green. But when the hail came, it shattered roofs, stripped trees, and blackened fields. In the silence that followed, the earth drank deeply of the meltwater, and come spring, the crops grew twice as strong. Thus Hagalaz was marked into stone, the rune of sacred upheaval, the breaking that blesses. Meaning and reflection. Hagalaz tells us, do not fear the breaking. In every fall of hail lies a spark of awakening. Let it strike. What endures after will be truer than before. Spoken invocation, open quote. Hagalaz, storm hammer, break what must be broken. Spare me my illusions, but not my strength. Let truth strike clean and leave me standing clear. Close quote. Chapter text. Northiz, the rune of need and endurance, the 10th of the Elder Futhark. Northiz burns quietly in the bones, a hunger that sharpens, a flame that refuses to die. It is the rune of necessity, hardship, and endurance. Through need, the spirit learns invention. Through lack, it finds its light. The tale of Northiz. In the heart of a bitter winter, when every fire had gone out, a lone wanderer pressed 2 sticks together until smoke rose. The spark was faint, but it lived. That spark was Northiz, the will to live when all else is lost. From want came warmth, from struggle, wisdom, meaning and reflection. Northiz teaches us that limits are not prisons, but crucibles. It whispers there is strength in scarcity, creativity in constraint. What you cannot have, learn from it. What you must endure, master it. Spoken invocation, open quote. Northiz, sacred need fire, kindle through the cold. Let endurance be my offering and patience my power, close quote. Isa, the rune of stillness and reflection, the 11th of the Elder Futhark. Isa is ice, clear, cold, unwavering. It halts the restless world and asks what lies beneath. When Isa appears, it is time to pause. Movement without direction is folly. Speech without meaning, waste. The tale of Isa. When winter locked the rivers in glass, the tribes turned inward. They tended fires and listened to stories, their reflection flickering in the frost. They learned that silence, too, is a teacher, that stillness holds hidden motion, waiting to return. Thus, Isa became the rune of clarity and restraint, the mirror between seasons. Meaning and reflection, Isa counsels patience. It says, freeze until truth is visible through the ice. Nothing is dead here, only resting, consolidating strength. Spoken invocation, open quote. Isa, still mirror, grant me clarity. Still my haste, cool my doubt. Beneath the frozen calm, let purpose awaken, close quote. Chapter 12, Jera, the rune of harvest and renewal, the 12th of the Elder Futhark. After the storm, the seed waits. After the waiting, it sprouts. Jera is the rune of cycles, reward and fraud and fruition, the reminder that all effort ripens in its time. The tale of Jera. A farmer sowed his field, though the sky still rumbled with late hail. His neighbours mocked him, but he said, the earth remembers kindness. When the season turned, his field blazed gold, while theirs lay barren. Thus Jera came to mean patience repaid, the harvest of steady faith. Meaning and reflection. Jera teaches rhythm and reward. As you sow, so shall you reap. It is the steady wheel, the turn from darkness to dawn. What is delayed is not denied, it is simply ripening. Spoken invocation, open quote. Jera, turner of seasons, grant me faith in the unseen hour. May all that I've planted return to me in golden kind, close quote. I was, the axis of endurance and initiation, the 13th of the Elder Futhark. Between life and death stands the world tree, and through its roots runs the current of transformation. Awaz is the rune of the yew, the tree whose roots reach hell and whose crown touches the heavens. It is the axis of endurance, initiation, and inner strength, the moment when the seeker becomes unbreakable by learning to bend. The tale of Awaz. When Odin hung upon the tree, 9 nights without food or drink, it was upon the yew's steadfast boughs he found the runes. Awaz whispered, endure the dark, for only through death do you learn to live beyond fear. Thus it became the rune of rebirth, through steadfast will. Meaning and reflection. Awaz is the rune of spiritual resilience and transformation through hardship. It teaches that endings are thresholds and that courage is quiet, rooted, and patient. Ask yourself, where do I stand firm and where must I learn to yield? Ritual, thought. Sit with your back to a tree. Visualize your spine as its trunk, your breath as wind in its leaves. Whisper, open quote, Awaz, root and crown, steady my soul in the storm. Close quote. Spoken invocation, open quote. Awaz, you of the worlds, pillar between shadow and flame, teach me endurance beyond time, to die and rise unchanged. Close quote. Chapter 14, Perthro, the hidden cup of fate, the 14th of the Elder Futhark. Fate does not speak in certainties, but in patterns, like dice cast upon the wind. Perthro is the rune of mystery, destiny, and revelation, the sacred game of life where not all is meant to be known. It governs the unseen hand of word, the unfolding of luck and choice in perfect balance. The tale of Perthro. In the mead halls of the gods, there was once a cup that could reveal destiny to those brave enough to drink. Some saw glory, others ruin, yet all saw truth. That cup was Perthro, the rune of the great unveiling. Meaning and reflection. Perthro reminds you that not everything must be controlled or understood. It asks, can I trust the mystery to guide me? Its lesson, the game of fate is sacred, and so is your role in it. Ritual thought, hold a small cup or bowl in your hands. Breathe over it and imagine it filled with the shimmer of unknown potential. Whisper, open quote, Perthro, keeper of chance, let my fate fold in wisdom. Close quote. Spoken invocation. Open quote, Perthro, cup of mystery, reveal what must be known. Let me walk my fate with courage and drink deep of the unknown. Close quote. Algiz, the guardian's reach. The 15th of the Elder Futhark. When light is found, it must also be guarded. Algiz is the rune of protection, spirit guides, and sacred connection between mortal and divine. It stands like the elk's antlers, both shield and antenna, reaching upwards, sensing danger, channeling guidance. The tale of Algiz. When humankind first learned magic, a guardian spirit took the form of a great elk, teaching them how to defend life without hatred. Its antlers glowed like dawn, warding off shadow. That power became Algiz, the rune of divine defense. Meaning and reflection. Algiz asks, what protects my peace and what threatens it? It reminds you to anchor yourself in boundaries born of respect, not fear. It is the rune of the spirit ally, the guardian presence that moves through intuition. Ritual thought. Trace Algiz in the air before you. Imagine it as radiant golden light, forming a protective aura. Whisper, open quote, I stand in sacred protection. What is meant for me remains, close quote. Spoken invocation. Open quote, Algiz, guardian of breath and bone, raise your antlers round my soul, shield me in truth and wisdom that I may walk in light unbroken, close quote. Chapter 16, Sowilo, the Sun's Triumph. The 16th of the Elder Futhark. The journey ends in radiance. Sowilo is the rune of the sun, victory, illumination and wholeness. The divine spark fully realized. It is the culmination of all that came before. The light that shines not because it avoids shadow, but because it has passed through it. The tale of Sowilo. When the first dawn rose after the world's creation, the gods named it Sowilo. It was the light that could not be contained, the joy of existence itself. Every being that carries a spark of will carries a spark of Sowilo. Meaning and reflection. Sowilo asks, where does my light come from and how do I share it? It teaches that true victory is self-mastery, the harmony of will and wisdom. It is the rune of guidance, clarity, and radiant becoming. At sunrise, lift your hands to the light and say, open quote, Sowilo, bright one, rise within me as you rise upon the world. Close quote. Feel warmth on your skin as blessing and renewal. Spoken invocation. Open quote, Sowilo, sun's heart, flame eternal, shining soul, crown me in your golden fire that I may live as light fulfilled. Close quote. Epilogue. The circle completed from flame to light, a reflection to close the first 16 runes, the path from becoming to illumination. The journey began in the spark of Fehu, the primal fire of creation, and ends in Sowilo, the sun triumphant. Between them lie the stories of becoming, of fear, endurance, revelation, and joy. Each rune, a whisper from the gods. Each symbol, a mirror of the soul. The seeker who walks this path does not gather power, they remember it. Through Uruz, they felt raw strength. Through Thurisaz, they learned discernment. Through Ansuz, the breath of wisdom. Through Rydho, the rhythm of movement. Through Kanaz, the light of craft. Through Gabo, the gift of balance. Through Wunjo, the harmony of peace. Then the storm came, Hagalaz, Nothies, and Isa, the runes of trial and endurance, teaching patience through loss and stillness through struggle. With Jera, the wheel turned, harvest after effort, the slow justice of nature. And then came transformation. Awaz, Perthro, Algiz, and Sowilo. Death and rebirth, mystery and revelation, protection and radiant triumph. Each one a breath, a heartbeat, a turning of the soul. The rune path as living flame. The first is not an ending, but a cycle, a sacred loop of creation. To walk it is to light your inner torch, to carry the wisdom of both dark and dawn. You have learned to wield the runes not as tools of control, but as songs of becoming. Each mark upon wood or stone echoes the first fire that birthed the worlds. And when spoken aloud, when carved, chanted, or breathed, they awaken that same spark within you. Ritual thought. The closing of the circle. At dusk or dawn, draw the rune Sawilo above Fehu, the end and the beginning united. Whisper, open quote, from flame to sun, from spark to soul, I complete the circle whole, close quote. Sit quietly, feel warmth spreading in your chest, not as an ending, but as the steady pulse of an eternal journey. Spoken invocation, the rune prayer. Open quote, from Fehu's flame to Sawilo's light, I have walked the path of becoming. May wisdom root in my heart and courage bloom in my hands. The wheel turns, I am part of its song, close quote.